In today's video, we're going to talk about a ridiculous PC case that looks surprisingly promising, actually. It's got all kinds of airflow vents and stuff in it. So despite the fact that it looks like the underside of a kindergartner's desk, it may actually be a pretty decent case. But before that, we have a sponsor for today's video, which leads into Dawid's story time about NordVPN. Now, as we all know, I buy dodgy graphics cards from the underbelly of the internet regularly. And then I thought to myself, what would be the ultimate conclusion to this series? Maybe I should go to the underest underbelly of the internet, the dark web, and have a look at what graphics cards they're selling there. And after doing some research, it seemed like the easiest way to onion was using NordVPN. So I signed up for a NordVPN account, I set it up, which was very easy to do, and then I went onto the dark web, which was an enlightening experience. Needless to say, graphics cards aren't what people are selling on the dark web, so unfortunately that video idea didn't go anywhere, but NordVPN helped get me some peace of mind while fulfilling my terrible idea. Now, NordVPN isn't only useful for buying used organs on the dark web, you can also use it to get around geo-blocking for services like Netflix or YouTube or whatever it is that you want to get around. So if that sounds good to you, use the link in my description below to sign up to NordVPN with an added discount. So thank you very much, NordVPN, for sponsoring this session of Dawid's Storytime. Another day, another battered package to unbox. This one actually looks like it was recently passed through Cthulhu's digestive tract and then just kicked all the way from there to my front door. Hopefully it's okay, but it doesn't sound super promising. When I put it down, there was also a just worryingly big ka-thunk sound in there as well. So hopefully the shark made it in one piece. Oh! That's really not a good sign. That is some premium quality packing foam right there. Holy crap. I mean, it looks like it's okay. The glass panel's not broken. There is a loose PCI Express bracket hanging around. I think that's what caused the ka-thunk. It actually looks like it's okay, which is very impressive considering that it seems to have been shipped by being shot out of a cannon. The whole case is covered in this DUU.com character, which has even been printed in the dust filter, which is actually pretty cool. In terms of front I/O, it's a bit dated. You've got one USB 3 port, two USB 2 ports, and a power button. When looking at the front, this is where the case looks very promising. You've got a whole mesh front, and it comes with 3 RGB fans, which is pretty cool. And then all of this League of the UU branding running all up the side. And then on the back, you've got the case's name, Shark. The pinks between the plastic and the actual metal of the case aren't identical, but it's close enough that when it's just on your desk, you wouldn't really notice. The tempered glass mounting on the side of the case is really bad because there's nothing holding it in place when you've actually unscrewed it, which could lead to you dropping a panel. Looking at the inside of this case feels uncomfortably like watching a hysteroscopy. And there are some other issues with it as well, which is the fact that, again, we don't have much rear cable management room back here. So I think routing cables is going to be a bit of an issue. And then as you can see up here, all of the front I/O cables and stuff aren't managed very well, but that's okay, we can do that ourselves. It comes with 3 RGB fans in the front and nothing in the back. That's okay, I guess. This case has a really good paint finish on it. One of the nicer ones I've seen in a while. You can see it's all glossy and thick. Whoever painted this case knows their way around a paintbrush. it's finished! We're done building in the Adventure Time spoof case, and it's a bit of a mixed bag for me, considering the fact that it's clearly, like, feature and build-wise, a cheap case, right? It's the kind of case that you would pay like $50 for and then settle with the building experience because you only paid $50 for it. It costs a lot more than $50, so we'll get into the price a bit later, but let me just talk you through some of the shortcomings and some of the advantages of this case while building it. Now, like I pointed out in the beginning of the video, there isn't much cable management room, but it wasn't really much of an issue. Like, there's enough cable management room for it to not be an issue, and considering the fact that it doesn't have a hard drive cage in the basement, which is a bit of a shortcoming, but that does make cable management a lot easier. So all of that was okay. Oh yeah, except for the fact that there aren't like rubber grommets around the cable management holes, which means that you can still see all of the cables just through the motherboard tray, which doesn't look amazing. So yeah, it wasn't the worst case to build in, but it's really not a very high quality chassis. You can see in various places that it was definitely damaged during shipping, especially getting the power supply in was a complete... I had to like bend it into place, which is pretty weird. And then there are a couple of other things, like these front fans only use Molex power, which would have been unacceptable in the 1920s, and considering that they don't have any other cables coming off them, you can't control the lighting on them, so they just endlessly cycle through various modes. Oh yeah, and then there's the fact that the tempered glass side panel has some of the worst mounting I've ever seen. Like, it is so bad. If you have to remove that tempered glass side panel, like, 3 or 4 times throughout the life of the case, you will break it at least twice. But other than that, like, once you're finished building in it and you have it like set up on your desk, I think it looks pretty cool. Because they have like black accents in the case around the place, it means that all of the black components inside the system kind of blend into the case quite well, and I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, it is obviously extremely garish, with all of this League of Doo stuff on the side. And the thermals are very good. So while playing Battlefield 5, the GPU barely went above 60 degrees Celsius, which for an RTX 3070, that's really good. That 5600X was running a little bit hotter, but remember, it doesn't have a massively powerful CPU cooler on it, and those temperatures are very much in check. And then, if you use like a torture test situation with IDA64 and Furmark, again, the temperatures are pretty good. You've got 70 degrees Celsius on the CPU and the GPU, which, considering that that's like worst case scenario, that's really impressive. Again, the case makes quite a lot of noise, but still, it's way better than like that Golden Field case, for example. I would not trust that with this kind of level of hardware in it. That system would catch on fire with a 3070 in it. Now, in conclusion, a bunch of you may be watching this video thinking, okay, so the building experience isn't amazing, but it looks interesting and the thermals are really good, and considering the fact that you can also get an orange variant of this case, maybe I want something interesting to zhuzh up my system. The problem is that it cost 200 Canadian dollars off of Amazon Canada. That's like Fantex P600S money. Now, initially, I thought this was just a badly priced case because of niche appeal and trying to scam kids or whatever, you know, the standard thing. But it's a bit worse than that, because if you go on AliExpress, you'll see the case is listed for $64 US, which is a lot more in line with what this case should cost. It's still a bit much, and you're probably going to wait the rest of your life for it to come, but that's a lot better than 200 Canadian dollars. The problem is that if you live in Canada, you can't buy the case off of AliExpress. They explicitly don't ship to Canada. And I'm guessing that's to protect the Amazon Canada reseller so that they can keep selling it on Amazon Canada for way more than it's worth. Which is just another blatant example of Amazon screwing over Canadians. I don't know what it is with Amazon and Canadians. Maybe they think that like Canadians are just sheep with wallets strapped to their back. Maybe more moose with wallets strapped to their back. I think that makes more sense. But no more! Amazon, stop being rude to Canadians, otherwise we won't send you maple syrup anymore. He says, not technically as a Canadian citizen. But anyway, whatever. Basically, if you live in the United States, it's a way better deal than it is in Canada. With that, thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this pretty hideous monstrosity that for some reason is weirdly appealing to me. Yeah, and until the next video, bye-bye.